Hello, I am very excited to welcome you to the first known asynchronous course in ELML centered leadership. I designed the Leadership Pathway for current and aspiring leaders to utilize specific leadership behaviors and strategies to improve academic outcomes for English learners and multilingual learners. If you are currently leading or aspiring to lead in a K-12 school or district with significant numbers of MLs or ELs, this leadership pathway is for you. I am Dr. Karen Woodson, founder of Leading for School Improvement. I'm the creator and instructor for the Leadership Pathway offered on English Learner Portal. I come to you with over 35 years of experience in K-12 education as a principal, EL director and supervisor, and experienced educator at the elementary, middle, and high school levels. Beginning in November 2020, I've been focused on using my experiences in leadership to support schools and districts to improve academic outcomes for English learners and multilingual learners. Be sure to check out my website at leadingforschoolimprovement.com and follow me on Twitter at KCWoodson101. Leading for School Improvement is also on Facebook and YouTube, so be sure to check us out there as well. So why the focus on ELML-centered leadership? I'm so glad you asked. I have personally witnessed over many years, well-intentioned school and district teams continue to miss the mark when it comes to understanding how to maximize efforts to enable MLs and ELs to thrive academically and linguistically. Many teams rightfully focus on the academics, but overlook the need to lead intentionally on how academic English is learned in all subjects. Consider this a sample accountability framework for a school report card. We know that all students must achieve and show progress in English language arts and mathematics. We also know that all students must be able to achieve in science and social studies and in other subjects. However, when it comes to English language proficiency, many leadership teams relegate the responsibility to the ELML teachers. Well-intentioned ELML teachers then make decisions around which curriculum and EL program types to use and how much time to provide for English language development instruction. These decisions are often made with a focus on serving students on the ML-EL caseload, as opposed to viewing the learning of academic English as embedded in all subjects. So yes, the fierce urgency of now is upon us and has been for quite some time. The only way to ensure that content in academic English are learned in all subjects is to ensure that ML-EL teachers are in deep and sustained collaboration with general education teachers. Teacher collaboration is no longer optional. As ML-EL-centered leaders, we must develop our ability to be intentional about the EL-ML program type being used in our particular settings. You know which of these models or combination of models you were using pre-COVID. It most likely changed during COVID. If there was ever a time that we needed to be in collaboration with our general educators around creating an equitable school-wide EL model, it is now as we prepare for a post-COVID reality. The key takeaway is this: no matter which EL program model or combination of models are chosen, a lack of strategic attention to the components of the EL-ML program model used results in a tremendous amount of variance that can silently thwart school improvement efforts. This was the case before COVID, and it's certainly the case during COVID and post-COVID if we do not shift to a vision that creates condition for all students to learn academically and linguistically in all subjects. Let us now apply an ML-EL-centered leadership lens to this challenge. Based on years of experience, I can say with confidence that the EL-ML program models in many schools look like the arrow on the left, where you have individual EL-ML teachers, some with and some without input from grade level colleagues and administration, making independent decisions about which EL program model or combination of models to use, which curriculum to use, and which class type to use, that is pull out, push in, self-contained. Which of these do EL and ML teachers use to serve the English learners and multilingual learners on their caseload? The result is that we don't realize that these independent decisions impact the ability of the organization to achieve its goals and measures, since they are all headed in different directions. This is a source of variance typically missed by leaders. So as we enter the post-COVID world, we must strategically shift to a vision that will enable us to align our efforts by implementing an EL model that is based on extensive collaboration between EL-ML teachers and general educators, with a focus on EL-centered goals and measures. This means that EL-ML teachers and general educators form professional learning communities or professional learning networks with a strong results orientation to include English language proficiency, with a relentless focus on creating an EL-ML program model that creates equitable conditions for all students to thrive academically and linguistically in all subjects. As we exit COVID, we need to mitigate the variance that you see on the left by aligning our efforts as shown on the right side of your screen. The approach to improvement in the leadership pathway is influenced by lessons in the Baldrige Excellence Framework. As such, the leadership pathway will build your capacity to understand how to first develop a shared EL-ML-centered vision. From there, the pathway will examine the other leadership categories you see here surrounding the EL-ML-centered vision. The result of completing the entire pathway is that you will leave with a draft school improvement or district improvement plan that is EL-ML centered and ready for implementation. The leadership pathway is a rigorous course in EL-ML centered leadership. I wrote about this EL-ML centered leadership journey in the article you see pictured here, which was published by Colorín Colorado. I've also been featured in a series of video interviews on Colorín Colorado's Meet the Administrators page. My focus now is on helping to build leaders who know how to create an equitable school-wide ELD model, such as the one that is described in this article entitled Creating Equitable Access for ELs During the COVID-19 Era, a Case Study. I invite you to check that out when you have an opportunity. I created this leadership pathway out of a strong belief that teachers are leaders who hold the key to improving outcomes for all students. This quote by PLC gurus Richard Dufour and Robert Marzano drives our core belief in teacher-led school improvement. Dufour and Marzano hit the mark when they wrote the following statement: "We assert that it will take a collaborative effort and widely dispersed leadership to meet the challenges confronting our schools, and we stress that virtually everyone who has elected to enter the field of education has the capacity to lead." This timeless guidance undergirds everything Leading for School Improvement does. Creating conditions for school and district improvement requires a commitment to empowering teachers to lead the improvement effort. So let us delve into the 3 courses on the leadership pathway. We're going to begin with the first course, which is Leading in High English Learner Enrollment Schools. This is a 5-hour course where you're going to study and clarify how the roles of the EL teachers and general educators coalesce to create that shared vision that I shared with you earlier in this presentation. We're going to learn how we focus on a school-wide ELD model through the continuous improvement cycle, which will eliminate that variance that you saw previously and really enhance our school improvement efforts. In this particular course, this 5-hour asynchronous course, you're going to define ELD instruction, the role of the EL teacher. You're going to envision that equitable school-wide model. You're going to envision what collaboration looks like. We're going to be using a gap analysis protocol to create a shared vision of what an equitable school-wide ELD model would be for your particular context. We even explore staffing. You know, one of the things I enjoy doing is demystifying the whole area around budget and staffing. So we'll talk about how staffing works in order to create those equitable conditions for ELs. We'll also learn how to get that essential feedback from staff on the ELD model and use it to support continuous improvement efforts. The second course in the leadership pathway is setting and monitoring English learner-centered goals. Now, in this particular course, we delve into the nitty-gritty of strategic planning, and we're going to work on actually developing an EL-centered strategic plan. Participants in this particular course will begin by exploring our federal, state, and local accountability requirements for ELs. We're going to learn how to set and monitor formative and summative SMART goals in English language proficiency. We're going to learn how to create an action plan that's aligned to that ELP, that English language proficiency SMART goal. We're going to describe the characteristics of professional learning communities and the foundation for leading grade and department PLCs. We'll also describe the role of the PLC in implementing and monitoring grade level action plans. You'll recall, this is a teacher-led effort, and so we do want to make sure that we empower professional learning communities, which are led by teachers, to actually implement and monitor these SMART goals and action plans. This is where the rubber hits the road. This is where the nitty-gritty of the school improvement or the strategic planning effort happens. We know that the key to school improvement is to make sure that we have high quality, job-embedded professional learning aligned to our school improvement priorities. In this particular course, which is the third in the leadership pathway, entitled Establishing a Culture of Teacher-Led Professional Learning, we're going to make sure that you learn how to create a professional development plan that's aligned to your SMART goals and action plans. You're also going to delve into how we can ignite a teacher-led improvement journey by empowering our teachers to work in professional development project teams. That means we're going to learn how to empower our teachers to design professional learning for the adult learner that is specific to their unique context and their EL-centered strategic priorities. In this particular course, participants are going to understand the impact of establishing a teacher-led school improvement journey to support that school-wide ELD. You're going to learn how to develop a PD plan aligned to those SMART goals and action plans, as I said. You're going to learn how to create a project charter to organize teachers into project teams that develop high quality PD aligned to school improvement efforts. You're also going to explore a backwards design approach to identifying professional learning outcomes that actually support our EL-centered SMART goals and action plans. Finally, you're going to use feedback or learn how to use feedback on professional learning sessions to support continuous improvement efforts. So, what are the options available for completing this amazing, cutting edge ML centered leadership pathway? Okay. Option one is for those who might need a self-paced study option. Maybe you need to complete a course for continuing education credit. Maybe you want graduate credit. You can take any one of the three courses for continuing education unit credit, or you can complete the entire 15-hour pathway for graduate credit. You would choose which option you want upon registration. So you don't have to complete the entire leadership pathway. You can actually pick and choose which of the three courses best suit your needs. I do hope that you choose the leadership pathway in its entirety simply because it's so practical and will give you that school improvement plan or that district improvement plan that's EL centered. Option two is for schools and districts that may want to take this pathway as a team, as a self-paced study option, but with a team of educators. Maybe your EL teachers and your reading specialists are beginning to collaborate. Maybe the leadership team wants to be able to study this pathway as a cohort. That is absolutely an option as well. You need only to indicate that that is your option when you are registering for the pathway. With this particular option, in terms of being able to complete the pathway as a cohort, this option does come with live online interaction with me, and it will make the learning for the cohort, the team, rich and meaningful. Whichever option you choose, you are going to find a rigorous course in school improvement that's going to empower you to know how to lead with ELs and MLs at the center. So, register for courses or request a quote for your team using the QR code that's on your screen, or you can find us on my website at leadingforschoolimprovement.com /leadership, /leadership. You'll find links there to register for the individual courses as well as the entire pathway. When you registered for the pathway, you will be redirected to the English Learner Portal site, as I do offer these options on the English Learner platform. Anyway, we are here for you. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope to see you on this innovative leadership pathway.